All right, joining us here this morning on our Ford Zoom call, Chase Briscoe, first of two guests, driver of the number 14 Mahindra Tractors Ford Mustang. And Chase, I was just mentioning before you hopped on in the simulator today with Joey Hand. Both you guys are there getting ready for this weekend's race at COTA. So we've got questions lined up here. We've got Chase for about 15 minutes. We'll try to keep it to that. So let's start with one question for everyone. And then if we've got some time on the backside, we'll come back from some follow-ups, but I want to make sure everybody gets at least one question here. So let's get started. Rob Tiongson, I know you're tied up, so why don't we kickstart with you? Go ahead, Rob.
Thanks, Dan, and good to see you, Chase. My question for you would be, hey, how you doing, man? You've been really excelling with the new next-gen car. I don't know if it's similar to the Xfinity or Truck Series cars, but what would you say has been advantageous about this particular iteration of Cup car that suits your driving style?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, truthfully, I don't feel like I'm really doing anything different. And I feel like the last, couple of weeks, the car's driven pretty similar to the old Cup car, not the 550 stuff, but, the 750 package and things like that. So, I don't know. I feel like just as a team, we've gotten better. We've had more speed in our race cars where last year was obviously a struggle. But, to me, they don't drive a whole lot different. I don't know if other guys just have more habits to break where I didn't really have a lot of things to break as far as just from an experience standpoint. But for me, I don't feel like I'm doing anything different. I don't feel like the cars drive a whole lot different. I mean, it is kind of a hybrid, I guess, between a Cup car and an Xfinity car from a feel standpoint. But yeah, I just feel like our cars have been really good. We've had a lot of speed and we've been able to capitalize on that. Where last year, we never had speed a lot of the time. And the races we did have speed, we ran up front. We just didn't have it consistently like we've been able to this year so far.
Thank you, Chase.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Rob. Let's go to Bob. Go ahead, Bob.
Yeah, Chase, all the winners this year under 30. I think once for the last 5 or 6 last year were under 30. Is there a reason that all the young guys seem to be winning races right now?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think, there's a majority. I think at least we have, the majority of guys are under 30 now. And then you throw in the guys under 30, a lot of them are at good teams. The guys that are over, 40, 30, there's not very many of them. And a lot of them are at good teams too. But yeah, I think, now we just have the numbers. In the past, it was always a lot more older guys, and there wasn't very many younger guys. And if there was younger guys, there weren't very many that were in, good cars. And now, we just have a higher percentage, I feel like, every week of winning just from a number standpoint. So yeah, I don't think there's really much to read into as far as, younger guys being better in this car. I just think it's a case of the numbers and the probability of it all. We just have a better chance typically because there's more of us.
Okay, let's go to Dustin Long. Go ahead, Dustin.
Thank you. Hey, Chase, with running up front more often this year to last year, you're certainly running around maybe some people that you didn't get to run around as much last year. And I'm curious, as you run toward the front more, what are you learning? How is that different? And is it just simply like your days in Xfinity when you're running up front? It's just different people, but it's kind of the same mentality? Or what's so different with, where you're running now and the people you're running with as compared to last year?
Yeah, I would say all the racing's hard, right? But when you're racing for 20th in the Cup Series, at least for me in my career, it's the hardest I've ever had a race. It's so cutthroat, where when you get in that top 5, you're still racing super hard, but it's just, there's more give and take. There's more understanding. There's a lot cleaner racing. And, it's just a different atmosphere. Guys are running for the win, but they typically will run as close as they can without hitting you. Where, when you're running 20th, it's just guys hitting you and everything else. It's just chaos, truthfully, back there. And there's just a lot more respect, I feel like, the farther up towards the front you get. So it's been nice, this year to be able to run farther up in the front and earn that respect and earn that trust with guys that are running up there weekly. And hopefully we can continue to. I feel like that's where we need to be, and we've shown that we're capable of doing that this year. So yeah, I would say that's just the biggest difference, is just the style of racing and just the respect in the top 5 versus when you're running, for 20th.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Dustin. Let's go to Greg Engel. Go ahead, Greg.
Hey, dude.
Hey, man.
Congratulations again on the win. You won that. You won that race in Miranda. You know, as a new sponsor. So that obviously felt great to do for a new sponsor. But how different have they been behind the scenes in terms of with your other sponsors? I mean, stuff we may not see because we see stuff like the commercial you did where you got to call your boss an old goat, that kind of stuff. What's it like? What have they been like behind the scenes?
Yeah, it's been really cool. I've been super fortunate my entire career. All my sponsors that I've had, I have really good relationships with, and are all incredible people, and we've been able to build a lot of really cool things. But for me, where Mahindra is different is it's really the first time I've ever been aligned, with the exception of maybe one or two times, with an actual consumer brand. You look at High Point, for example, it's not as much of a consumer play. It's more of a B2B thing where, with Mahindra, they're trying to sell tractors to fans. And that's something that I haven't really had at the higher levels of NASCAR as a consumer brand, as a sponsor. So it's been cool to just see the approach, and what they're trying to do to, correlate that over to tractor sales. And it's been a lot of fun. Anytime you can bring a new partner into the sport, it's special. And to be able to do it and do it in a way that we've been able to do it and make a big splash. And that's all because of them. They're obviously investing a lot, not only with the race team, but also, our broadcast partners and things like that. So it's been really cool for me. I feel like it's only helping my brand, letting people see my personality in these commercials and things like that. So it's been really cool. We're not done doing stuff yet. There's still a lot of cool things coming down the pipe, and hopefully be able to announce some of that here soon. But yeah, it's just been a lot of fun for me, to see how enthusiastic they are about this racing deal. And it's just been a lot of fun.
Thanks, pal.
Yeah, thank you.
Let's welcome in a new partner here at the Ford Zoom call. Kevin, I see you sitting up there. You got your hand raised. Welcome to our call with Chase. Go ahead, ask your question.
Thank you. Chase, I wanted to ask you about Circuit of the Americas and Austin in particular. You had a really strong run here last year and avoided the wreck fest. But what were your thoughts about COTA and your impressions of the track in Austin?
Yeah, I feel like from the racetrack standpoint, I'm kind of going there for the first time, just because last year I don't think I ever ran a single lap in the dry. I think we practiced, qualified, everything in the wet. So it's going to be like learning a whole new racetrack this week. I know from a facility standpoint, it's pretty remarkable. It's super cool to go out there. The fans, even last year in the rain, there was a ton of them out there. So I'm excited to see what it looks like this year. And from a city standpoint, I didn't really do a ton of exploring last year, but I know Austin's a really cool town from everybody else that's kind of explored. It's something I'm going to try to do a little bit more this year while we're there. Just because we're there a little bit longer than typical. So yeah, I'm super excited to get back. I'm really excited, truthfully, just to get this next gen car on a road course. And I think by themselves, when I've ran them at the Roval, they're a blast to run on the road course. I'm curious what the racing will be like. I think it'll definitely change the landscape of these road course races. I think you're going to see a lot more guys be competitive than years past, because you can drive this car so much harder. It does a lot of things a lot better than the old cars. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that works out, plays out. But yeah, I'm super excited to get out there. It looks like the weather's going to be really good and should be a great show.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Lee Spencer, you're up.
Thank you. And thanks for joining us today, Chase. To kind of follow up on Dustin's question, he's talking about the difference between racing at the back and racing at the front. But you look at somebody like Ross Chastain, who, like you, fought so long and so hard just to get to this point. Now he's got assurances from his team owners and his team management that you are secure in your space here at Trackhouse, very much in the same way where Tony said you are secure in your spot here with Stewart-Haas Racing. How does that alleviate your fear and allow you simply to rely or just focus on the task at hand, which is racing?
Yeah, it's huge. I think from a confidence standpoint, it's always hard. Anytime you're running, that mid-pack area, you're always questioning, are they going to want you back the following year and things like that. So running up front definitely helps, but hearing it from your owner, whether it's, Justin Marks at Trackhouse or Tony at Stewart Haas, whenever your owner tells you, hey, you're good, like just go out and do your own thing, do whatever you feel like you need to do, it definitely gives you a confidence and it relaxes you and you just go out there and react. And I feel like whenever you're always questioning if you're going to be back or, you feel like you're really on the edge of your seat, as far as coming back the next year, you start second guessing what you're doing. And when you're second guessing, at least for me, I feel like I make the wrong decisions. So whenever you can go out there and just react and be confident and trust your abilities, I feel like it goes a long way on the racetrack as far as results go. And, I can't speak for how Ross, reacts to that. But it seems like this year he's been really, really fast and up front week in and week out. So I think that goes a long way. Like I said, I know it does for me.
Did the win also help you in that matter, just kind of, taking the pressure off?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit, but I mean, just because you won once doesn't mean you're safe. I mean, I think you got to keep winning and running up front. So I think it shows you're capable. And, you prove that you can get it done, but, getting it done once is different than getting it done 10 times. You got to keep doing it and you got to keep repeating and trying to be up front. And, I think that's where it's more important. Winning one race is really nice. I'm not saying that it's not awesome to win one race, but we want to win a lot more than one. But I do think, it gives you a little bit of security, for a couple of weeks. But, this sport is so up and down as far as the stock side of things go. You can win every race and then you start struggling for a couple of weeks and people question you. I mean, it's no different than, look at Jimmy Johnson. The guy won 7 championships. He's an incredible race car driver. And towards the end of his NASCAR career, people thought he couldn't drive. And it was the farthest thing from the truth. He's still capable of going out and running up front. He didn't forget how to drive overnight. So I think you got to keep trying to run up front just because your stock is always up and down. But yeah, I mean, winning is definitely nice. I feel like it gets some stress off your back for a couple of weeks, but you got to go to the racetrack the next week and continue to try to back it up.
Appreciate your time. Thanks. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, Chase, we've got 4 more, so we'll try to get through these as quick as we can, and then we'll go and move on to Joey. Marty Sakala, go ahead. You're up.
Thanks, Dan. Chase, thanks for the time, man. Just following up on Kevin's question, it's clear that with the weather last year, the racing wasn't up to its potential. We've got a perfect forecast. How much passing do you think we'll expect with a dry racetrack and likely slick conditions if the track temp is hot?
Yeah, I think it'll definitely be different. I mean, last year's race will look way different than this year's race with the weather. And, I think there was still really good racing last year. It's a different style of racing when it was that wet. But, from a driver's standpoint, it is a lot of fun. Just the visibility obviously is tough. And then from a fan standpoint, it's tough to see what's going on and obviously a little more miserable than if it was a really nice day. So, yeah, I think this car, like I said, on the road courses is where it's really going to shine. And, truthfully, I think on the oval stuff, it's been better than what, a lot of people expected. So I think the road course is probably going to blow it out of the park. It's a really well-built race car, especially for road course racing. So it'll be interesting to see now that there's going to be 40 of us out there going for it versus just a test session, what that difference looks like. But, I think COTA is a really good racetrack to kind of unveil this thing on a road course. And I know I've been really excited to get there. So I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Thank you, man. Good luck this weekend.
Yeah.
Trey Downey, go ahead, Trey.
Hey Chase, this new car seemed to really improve the racing at both Las Vegas and Auto Club. Looking ahead to next week at Richmond, the racing there has kind of been much maligned over the past couple of years. Do you think that this car will improve the racing there, and how do you expect it to be different with this new car at Richmond?
Yeah, I think, the racing's been good in the past. It's just so circumstantial. Everybody's view of what makes it a good race is different. Some people want to see a lot of passing. Some people want to see the car slipping and sliding around. Some people want to see wrecks. Others want to just see a close finish at the end. That definition of a good race is different for everybody. So, I think, for me at least, I think in the past, Auto Club's been a blast. I had a blast there this year too. So, Richmond, I don't really know what to expect. I do think this car probably creates a little more grip than the old car does at places like Richmond. But yeah, I honestly don't know what to expect when we go to Richmond. I think that we haven't really seen this car on a true short track. Yeah, Phoenix is a short track, but there's not a lot of tire fall off, things like that, where Richmond, there's a ton of fall off. So, how does this car react to that? Things like that. It'll definitely be interesting, just how this car, plays into tire saving and guys going hard and things like that. I do think that this car everywhere we go, there's a lot of comers and goers. You have guys that are extremely good on the short run, guys that are good on the long run. And this car really, you just are constantly changing positions. And, I think you throw in the tire fall off side of things at Richmond, and it's going to be interesting for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, Chris Knight. Go ahead, Chris.
Hey, Chase. Thanks for your time.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just wondering if you could talk about your relationship with Johnny Klausmeier and how you guys have improved your relationship both on and off the racetrack.
Yeah, me and Johnny, from the get-go, I feel like we've always gotten along really well. From a personality standpoint, I feel like we're both a lot alike. That's been kind of different for me than crew chiefs I've had in the past. A lot of my crew chiefs aren't as, I guess, I don't even know what the word would be, just as laid back and relaxed as Johnny is. So yeah, it's been kind of different for me because, normally it's a deal where it's, hot and cold, where, one guy is, more amped up all the time. The other guy's really relaxed, where, me and Johnny are both pretty relaxed all the time. But yeah, I think, as we've continued to learn each other, we've only gotten better. Last year was tough just from a standpoint of no practice and no qualifying, trying to learn each other. He was trying to, figure out what I was even asking for sometimes. He hasn't worked with, any sprint car guys before, and just our lingo and what we look for. And I felt like towards the end of last season, we really started to click as far as, what I liked in the race car. And this year, we've done a phenomenal job of doing the same. So yeah, I think our success on the racetrack has honestly become a lot because of having practice and having qualifying and all these things, where last year we were always, trying to catch up, and it just made it a real struggle. By the end of the race, I always felt like our car drove really good and we were one of the faster cars. We were just buried from a track position standpoint. We were already a lap down from the beginning of the race. So us being able to have practice, get our car driving really good, and then go qualify and be able to start up front has been huge for our team.
Thanks, bud. Best of luck at COTA.
Yeah, thank you.
And Chase, I'll just ask, because Joey's coming up next, and I'll tell you that he's on the call here so he can hear what you're about to say. But I'm just curious.
Here.
Okay, I didn't know if you're in the same spot or not, but how has he helped you? Because he's kind of helped a lot of guys on the NASCAR side on road courses with his expertise. Just kind of how has he helped your development, especially like on a day like today where you guys are both in the simulator?
Yeah, it's been huge. Joey's obviously an extremely good road course racer. He has a little bit of dirt background, so he can kind of relate to what I go through. But yeah, it's been huge. Anytime you can have somebody come from a different discipline and, different style driving cars and give input, I think it's huge. We've seen that with other manufacturers kind of doing the same thing. And for me, I like criticism. I like people telling me what I'm doing wrong. And, he literally just gave me a whole sheet of things I could try different. And I think the good thing at being at the simulator and having Joey here is just the fact that you can run laps. He can see it. He can come out and say, hey, try this, this, and this. And then you can apply it. You don't have to wait till, the weekend to try things. And I know last year I was definitely able to find speed in places that he was, telling me to try things in the simulator. So now we got to race against him. I've been telling him all day long, I think he's going to be really, really good this weekend. So it'll be interesting to see how those guys run. This thing is, in a sense, a lot like a sports car, which is what he's used to. So I'm excited to see him run this thing this weekend, and think he'll be one of the guys to beat.
Well, thanks for joining us. I know it's a busy morning for you, but we had some great questions. And again, best of luck this weekend at COTA.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it, guys.